We are closer than ever to slowing or even reversing aging. That's a good thing, right? If it's not, where's the line? We'll try to answer those questions and many more in this video. I don't know the best format to do this kind of video, and I settled on a pros and cons list. We'll weigh both sides, then I will give you the conclusions I came to. If you don't agree with me, let me know your reasoning. I'm happy to understand new perspectives. This is a complicated philosophical question, so I'll need to start with some outlining just to make sure we're all on the same page. Even with some aging related diseases going away, we'd still have some. We'd also still have pretty much every other way death can occur, but old age would not be one of them. Let's assume whatever treatment pausing aging is readily available and affordable for now. I'm not sure how close we'd be to ending poverty once we're able to stop aging, but once we weigh the options, we can get into affordability and all that. Let's also assume that we have the control to end it whenever we feel like. Now that we have that out of the way, let's get into the pros. More time to spend with people you care about, more time to do what you love, more people means more things can be invented faster. You can take up a lot more hobbies. Specifically, athletes can expand their playing careers, assuming injuries don't get in the way. If this goes on long enough, you might be alive to see your great great grandchildren. If you're a social media influencer, that means more people can see our content. If you're a singer, you don't have to worry about your voice declining due to age. The best doctors, or really any profession, can practice as long as they want. Now, not all of these are going to apply to everyone, but I think you get the point. Now, let's get into the cons. You'll have to deal with people you don't like for much longer now. This could make a person feel hopeless, especially if they're getting bullied or oppressed for long periods of time. We also don't know what this will do to the current murder rates. If you commit a serious crime, you could be locked up for who knows how long. Judges may increase sentences, and then you could get into the cruel and unusual punishment debate. A person's death will be a lot more scarring, since you've most likely known them for so much longer. We may get stuck with the same politicians for centuries, with the exception of the president. You may also get tired of the ones you used to like. We may also deal with overcrowding with sports teams, since players will have no need to retire other than lack of interest. But generally, overpopulation could become a problem. We could stay alive long enough for global warming to get out of control. Jobs would be harder to get, especially for teenagers and young adults. You'd essentially have to work for the rest of your long life unless you're rich, which you can get out of a lot of these things in life if you're rich. If you lost a body part or a sense, you'd have to deal with that exponentially longer. If Same deal with if you have PTSD or any other mental condition, you'd have to live with those. Life's meaning would change. It could lose its meaning entirely. I'm sure there are plenty more pros and cons alike that you can think of to add on to this. Let me know any you have down in the comments, but we're gonna move along. The best case scenario would be if you're wealthy and have no physical or mental medical conditions. Let's be honest, how common is that? On the surface, there are a bit more cons, but they're very conditional. For example, if you're middle aged and don't care about sports teams, that's two cons that already don't apply to you. Of course, these pros and cons are different for everyone, and while you're thinking about whether or not this would be worth it, I'll share my opinion. I honestly think this is worth it. You get to be in your prime longer, and while this is far from a perfect solution to life's problems, you'll have more experiences with life. I guess it also just depends on your perspective, as well as your religious beliefs. Religious people may be less likely to reverse their own aging since they think they'll go to whatever afterlife they believe in that will supposedly be better. Since I'm not religious, I don't believe in anything after death. I don't even know if I want there to be one, and trust me, I do not want to be immortal. But anyway, I'm going to end this video before I go on a religious rant. Um, I have enough videos on my channel discussing that, so I just wanted to make the distinction between immortality and reversing aging, because reversing aging doesn't instantly mean you can't die. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.